Bill Mathews died at the age of 56. He was the author of about a dozen books of poetry. He won the National Book Critics Circle Award for Time and Money in 1995. And in 1997, he won the Ruth Lilly Award from the Modern Poetry Association. Bill was born in Cincinnati in 1942. He was educated at Yale and the University of North Carolina. And he taught and lectured all over the United States. One of the early places that he lectured was the University of Illinois. I'm sorry, the University of Utah. I don't know why the hell I said Illinois. It's not even remotely related to one another.
I taught jazz.
Jazz. Jazz, ain't it? It was interesting because I always equate Bill and Larry Levis for some reason, because they both died at about the same age, a couple of years apart, and their work meant a lot to me. One of the early folks, Bill, when he was very, very lonely, he was teaching at the University of Utah, and he used to go see the ABA team called the Utah Stars, right? And one of the first times he was there, he talked about seeing Moses Malone play when he was still 19 years old, and he went straight from his senior year in high school to play professional basketball. And Moses is famous for being the greatest offensive rebounder in the history of basketball, but he's also famous for predicting when they won the world championship in 1983 and the Philadelphia 76ers were getting ready to start the playoffs, and all the reporters were gathered around him, and Moses, not worried a bit about stereotypes, was sitting with a great knee high and a big box of chicken. All the reporters standing around, he took his shoes off and he set them to the side and asked him, he said, "Moses, what do you think is going to happen in the playoffs?" And Moses said, "Foe, foe, foe." And they said, all of them looked at each other. So what he predicted was, we're getting ready to sweep all these bastards. Nobody's going to get a game. Moses, as it turned out, was a little bit like Nostradamus. Somebody did get one game, and that was it. They ran ramshackle through the playoffs and won the world title. This poem is called In Memory of the Utah Stars. Each of them must have terrified his parents by being so damn big. Obsessive and exact, so young, already gone and leaving like a big tipper, and then leaving that big huge changeling body in the place of your son, the prince of bone spurs and bad knees. The year I first saw the Stars play, Malone was a high school freshman, and he was already too big for any of his beds, and he was 14. And his parents viewed him as a natural resource. You have to learn not to apologize, because that's a form of vanity. And when you can play this game, you flare up in the lane and you're exotic anywhere else. But on the court, you roll the ball off your fingers and they're twice as long as your girlfriend's. And as long as you got great touch for a big man, there's some junk, some jerk, and he's talking that junk, and you turn to him and say, "But I'm a millionaire." Now they're all defunct. And Moses Malone, who was a boy wonder at 19, rises at 20 from the St. Louis bench, and his pet of a body has grown sullen as fast as it has grown up. And he looks at none of us white men, and he just takes our money. Something in you remembers every time the ball left your fingertips wrong, and nothing that the ball can do in the air will change the way you touched it. You watch it set, that stupid moon, the way you watch yourself in a recurring dream. You never lose your touch or forget how taxed bodies go at the same pace that they owe, and how brutally well the universe works to be beautiful, and how we metabolize loss just as fast as we have to. We've been running the Mathews Prize for a while now, and we read what the process is. We read all of the submissions, and then we pick usually 10 finalists, which we submit to a celebrity judge, and they pick them blind. They don't know whose names are on any of them. Every once in a while, and it comes up a time where we look, and Luke and I get down to the end, and we're going over the very last finalists after we read all these submissions. Give Luke a hand, by the way. It's a hard working job. After we've done all that time, read all these submissions and done this, and then we sometimes